How's it going, friends and wrestling fans? It's Michael Solomon here, and I'm just warning you ahead of time. This is going to be a long video. Reason being is I'm reviewing both Raw 25 and SmackDown, the SmackDown following Raw 25, in one video, as I've said I was going to do, and I picked a bad time to do it, given that this big show of Raw was going to be happening. There's a lot of things to mention about this episode of Raw, although I feel it was a bit disappointing in the long run. But we'll get started. They are airing it from two locations, okay? So we've got the Barclays Center, but we've also got the Old Manhattan Center, which is where we're going to start. The old sirens going off, the Raw's War logo. We get JR and King on commentary. Got an Ico Pro banner, which is a nice little touch of nostalgia there. We get a brief, thing about the fact that we're doing it there. And then we cut to the Barclays Center, where we get a video package. Really just nostalgic clips of the things that made Raw great over the years. Made me feel things. I really enjoyed it. We then get Shane and Stephanie McMahon in the ring talking about how, great, how amazing everyone was. Every person that's worked there has been over the last 25 years and everything like that, and how the fans are amazing. But they had to thank very specifically one person who, none of this would be here without. It was, of course, Vince McMahon. So Vince comes out to a great pop from the crowd, giving him proper, acknowledgement for being the guy that, created, Raw, WWE, what have you, the thing that everyone loves so much. So he comes out, and he gives, he says thank you, and it feels pretty heartfelt, in all honesty. But it doesn't last long, as before he can leave, Shane and Stephanie have gotten him a gift that's from all of us. I don't remember anything coming out. Maybe it was in taxes. I don't pay attention whenever that comes around every year. But apparently, everybody got a gift for Vince, and it was a plaque, which he did not like. He's not a fan of plaques, apparently. He said it's cheap. Got some cheap heat by, dissing Brooklyn and dissing New York area, which got the asshole chants going, which was nice. That's some classic Raw. So he goes on to say, that he doesn't thank the fans. He doesn't thank anybody that's worked for you. The only person he thanks is himself. He's the only person that should be thanked for all this. And then Austin's glass shattered, music hits, and everyone loses their minds as expected. Comes down to the ring. Shane catches a stunner. Vince catches a stunner. Shane catches another stunner. Beer everywhere. We rocking out much like Austin always does. Austin doesn't get one single line of dialogue, which is a little disappointing, because that man got the word "what" over. A single word, much like Daniel Bryan's "yes" chants, for like 20 years now. Like, we still do that at wrestling. He's a funny guy. He's good on the microphone. You would have thought he would have got some dialogue, but he didn't. It's alright. I hope you were excited about that moment, because that's pretty much it. The show kind of goes downhill from here slowly, and then it eventually just becomes very monotonous. It wasn't worth it after about the first hour, I'd say. So we'll get into the next segment. After that, we get a 8-woman tag match, which was sponsored by Carl Jr.'s. Bad timing, because they decided to say this and then show Nia Jax, the biggest woman in the match. It wasn't on purpose. I'm sure it was not on purpose, but just badly timed. You got to think about stuff like that. People are going to call that stuff eventually. Look, I am now, and I'm just some nobody. But, whatever. Decent match. No real complaints. By the way, it was Absolution, which is just Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. Paige is, as you know, injured, possibly retiring, being forced to anyway. So it was Absolution of Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville teaming with Alicia Fox and Nia Jax, which kind of takes away the fact that they are a faction, I guess. Going against Bayley, Sasha Banks, Asuka, and Mickie James. Normal match, back and forth, not too bad. Ends up everyone that's not in the ring legal at the time. At the time, Sasha Banks and Alicia Fox were the two legal combatants, if you will. Everyone else is brawling on the outside. And during this moment, Sasha ends up getting the bank statement on Alicia Fox, who taps out, and that's the end of the match. But when all the good guys are in the ring, Asuka starts just chucking everybody over the top rope because the Royal Rumble is this Sunday. So we have to remember that, because it's everyone for themselves in that match. There are no friends. It doesn't matter. So, nice little touch. I enjoyed it. Then we get backstage to Kurt Angle, and then literally everyone comes in. Brooklyn Brawler and Jonathan Coachman and Brother Love, which got a huge reaction. I got excited. I like seeing Brother Love. And we also ended up getting Theodore Long showed up, which was nice, and the Boogeyman. Boogeyman showed up. So just a nice nostalgia pop, but nothing building towards anything for the pay-per-view, which is kind of what I wanted them to do, given this is the last Raw before Royal Rumble. But so then we get Taker at the Manhattan Center. Lights go out, and you get the gong and everything. It's the mystique of an Undertaker entrance. He gets in the ring and he cuts a promo, and that's about it. A lot of people were speculating we're going to get Undertaker versus John Cena at WrestleMania, and there's still time for that to happen. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, because I got a feeling maybe why things are so vague is because nobody knows. Maybe they haven't hammered out a plan just yet, even though usually they try to. Maybe they just haven't. They haven't come up with what they want to do with Taker, if anything, after what seemed like him being retired last year. So he does give a speech. It ends with a line similar, close to, all the souls who have fallen can now finally rest in peace. And then he leaves the ring. It's it. And another reason why I feel the Manhattan Center, the guys just got screwed. Some people paying $800 for tickets through secondhand markets. And you're getting stuff like this, and the few matches you got, and then just basically watching the rest of it on a big screen. I'm sorry for you guys. So then we cut back and we get the APA playing some poker with Rhino and Heath Slater. Heath Slater's losing money. He's losing his life saving. He's got kids. $1 Million Man shows up. There's a stack of money on the table. He's apparently buying his way into the poker game. And it was a nice little segment. However, we're going to get 3 more of these. And the build-up for these, you'll see. So after that, we get a general manager appreciation segment. John Laurinaitis shows up in a red suit. William Regal, Eric Bischoff, then Daniel Bryan for some reason. He's never, been the general manager of Raw, but he comes out. It leads to The Miz coming out. When The Miz comes out, they have a stare down. It's a nice little segment there, and yeah, this is leading to probably the best match of the night. Not saying a whole lot about this show. The Intercontinental title match between The Miz and Roman Reigns. So we get into this Miz and Roman Reigns match, and it's a good match. It's honestly just a good match. A lot of the Miz-Taraj interference, as you would expect. Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel just trying to get in the way and help The Miz. They get caught with a drive-by into Bo Dallas, who hits into Curtis Axel. They kind of get thrown away. During this moment and this follow a little beat up, the cameras don't pick it up, but The Miz crawls over to the second turnbuckle, undoes the pad, and tosses it off. Gets it out of the way. But no one at home saw it. The cam didn't pick it up. So the match continues. The Miz-Taraj gets thrown out from ringside. This leads to a little bit more of a back and forth, which eventually leads to Roman going headfirst into that exposed steel. It's stunning him long enough to catch another skull-crushing finale, which is second or third of the match. Finally, Miz pins him, gets the win. He's now an 8-time Intercontinental Champion. I believe that puts him one behind Chris Jericho. So, congrats to The Miz. I kind of assumed The Miz was going to pick up the win because Roman was going to have to drop the title here soon, because I believe he's going to be the man facing Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Then we get more of the poker game. Jeff Hardy's there, MVP is there, which was nice, the Usos, just more people playing poker, which is kind of a nice little touch again, nothing too huge. Then we get the Peep Show with Christian, and such a misuse of this talent, because Christian only says a few lines before he introduces the tag team champions, Jason Jordan and Seth Rollins. They come out to talk, and it's mostly Jason Jordan, who's getting just booed heavily by the crowd, and he's still trying to talk through it. He eventually tries to say all of this is because of Kurt, and thanks to Kurt Angle, and Kurt Angle's amazing because Kurt Angle's his dad. And this leads to the bar coming out. So Cesaro and Sheamus, get in the ring, and it breaks down to them going like, actually, like it's not that Kurt Angle sucks, it's you suck, Jason Jordan. So then they start doing you suck, and it's the Kurt Angle style theme, chanting you suck. The whole crowd gets behind it as expected. Leads to a brawl. Seth Rollins ends up suicide dive to the outside, ends up kneeing his partner in the face accidentally. Whenever Jason Jordan had one of them held back, he escapes. Ends up catching the knee in response, building some of that speculation into their match at the Royal Rumble. All fine and good. Then backstage, we get Alexa Bliss going to be having like a little like promo. Charlotte shows up, talks about the reason why she's Raw champion is because she's on SmackDown and what have you, and how that she's the better women's champion. It's all just for Ric Flair to show up and give us a woo, which was worth it. Then we get more poker. Natalya showed up and is now winning. Titus Worldwide has showed up as well. It was getting stale by this point. Then we go back to the Manhattan Center. You guys must have been excited because Bray Wyatt comes out. And we get a Bray Wyatt versus Woken Matt Hardy match. All of 5 minutes long. Not exciting, nothing groundbreaking, and it was uninspired, and I'm hoping this isn't the payoff to all the weird, stuff that they've been building towards. The announcers, Jim Ross and King, were talking about, who is Sister Abigail. I guess we can just pretend we don't know that it was gonna be Bray Wyatt and drag. They could still save that storyline, but we can just ignore that for now. But that's it. We then, after Bray Wyatt picks up the win against Matt Hardy, we cut back to Barclays Center where we're getting a woman's segment. And they just it's a parade of the greats of the women's division. We get the Bellas both come out, Maurice, Kelly, Lillian Garcia, Jacqueline, Tori Wilson, Michelle McCool, Terry, Maria Kanellis, Trish Stratus, who got a huge pop. No Lita? I mean, alright, fair enough. It was just a noticeable thing that she wasn't there. It was nice, again, I mean, it was the same as the general manager segment, so it felt, again, rehashed. But, it's fine. I'm okay with it. This led to Elias walking towards the ring, and he runs into Chris Jericho. Now, I'm a little surprised, because this is coming off of Wrestle Kingdom, not too long ago. Jericho, already back on Raw and everything like that, showed up. He was also wearing his Alpha Jericho shirt, which is his New Japan Pro Wrestling thing that he was doing. Shows up, sings a little song, and puts Elias and his scarves on the list, which, whatever, cool. I guess dream, ideally, seeing Jericho, the thing I would want to seen happen is the completely impossible, unlikely, because WWE would never let it happen thing, and that's that Tetsuya Naito would have showed up and attacked Jericho. That's who he's feuding with over in New Japan right now, and that's who his next match is going to be, because Jericho will be there. I don't think Jericho is going to be in the Royal Rumble. Don't quote me. I've been wrong before. But, yeah, so that's it. We then, this leads to Elias coming out. He does his, little segment, gets the crowd on his side, and then starts singing bad about the crowd. Sings directly to Jimmy Fallon for some reason. So then, in his song, he mentions some legends. He mentions John Cena. John Cena, obviously, hearing his name has to show up. So he shows up, and he comes out and goes to talk bad about Elias. He mentions that, because in the song, Elias said that Brooklyn doesn't have balls, but Cena points out that they do, and they're right there, and the camera doesn't show it, but then it eventually cuts over, and security stole. It was a beach ball. There was a beach ball, and Cena got it taken away from them. Come on, Cena. So, yeah, it wasn't anything exciting. Cena kind of goads him into a fight. This leads to a quick scuffle. He gets Elias up for the attitude adjustment, and Elias slips out, drops, gives him a good low blow. This leads to him bashing the guitar over his back and then hitting him with the drift away. This is the spot, the segment. He's in Samoa Joe's shoes right now because Samoa Joe is injured, which is much more what I wanted to see. Hopefully, we can still get that at WrestleMania because that's what I want. So we'll see how long this little feud plays out because it's obviously going to play a little longer. Will it cash off here at Royal Rumble? We'll go a little bit past that to like Elimination Chamber. Who really knows? No, nothing against Elias. I just really wish Samoa Joe would have been in the spot, but he's injured, so what can you do? Then you get the last segment at the poker table. The only redeeming part of this segment to me is that the New Day is now playing, and they're betting with pancakes instead of poker chips, which is just, I don't know, a nice little touch, because, why not? So, the New Day is there. Eventually, they accuse Heath Slater of cheating, which he was. He had like a bunch of cards in his lab and everything like that. $1 Million Man ended up winning anyway. He cleaned house. He won all the chips. We get a Ron Simmons damn, which was that personally is my thing. Everybody has something stupid that makes them laugh, and that's mine. That's the one that gets me every time. But the payoff to the whole cheating thing is that we're gonna get you don't fight at the poker table. So says Bradshaw. So what you're going to get is Titus Worldwide going against Heath Slater and Rhino in a tag match. That's why we had these 4 poker segments, I guess. Maybe we just had too many names for this episode of Raw. I don't know. Alright, so yeah, then we get a nice little backstage segment before that of Mark Henry just walking through the back, and don't know what he was looking at because his eyes were higher than the pictures, but whatever. He's walking around looking. He runs into the Godfather, and they kind of reminisce on old times, and there's this woman, Olivia. Turns out that Olivia is the Godfather's wife. Yeah, I guess some people do change. It was a nice little, again, much like everything else, in the moment, a very nice little pop. As a whole, for what Raw was before the Royal Rumble, it's just very stagnant. It doesn't feel good to me. So then you get Titus Worldwide versus Rhino and Heath Slater. So, again, it's, like I said, it's Titus Worldwide. And I gotta do that now. I've been told. So, the only thing I remember about the match, other than the fact that it gets thrown away as it turns into a just complete chaos, is literally Apollo Crews holding the world's longest vertical suplex. Like, he has him up there for like 30, 45 seconds. It feels like a year. He's just holding him there. And I was just like, all right, I get it. Apollo Crews is super strong because he can hold up Heath Slater and whatever. But, anyways, the match gets thrown away. The Dudley Boys show up. It all leads to the Dudley Boys putting Heath Slater through a table. You didn't need 4 poker segments for that. You could have gave me one little thing in the back with them saying something stupid or talking about, maybe give me more of a payoff with the Rhino trying to tough him up. So we got them a match against the Dudleys, and you could just get the Heath Slater thing. Maybe it's because Devon put on a little weight. Maybe they're just not medically there. I don't know. But it was just sad. It wasn't good. I didn't get the pop I usually get for the Dudleys. I don't know. It just wasn't that good for me. Then we get AJ Styles about to cut an interview. He brings in Mean Gene Okerlund. I really enjoyed that. He also gives us his best Hulk Hogan impersonation. As he does just like, let me tell you something, Mean Gene. And it's just, come on. But then he spends the rest of it trying to get Cammy over, which is his little pet name for Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and just, whatever. So then after we get that, we go back to the Manhattan Center for the last portion that's over there. DX comes out, tossing the glow sticks. It leads to, them cutting a good promo. Shawn Michaels, Triple H, both still really good. They say they didn't come alone, bring in the New Age Outlaws of Road Dogg and Billy Gunn. They do their classic opening. Then they can introduce X-Pac. The crowd chants 1, 2, 3 Kid, which was, I liked it. And then after that, they, have to make sure, they invite the bad guy. So they invite Scott Hall, Razor Ramon back out to the ring. Then they cut away from it weirdly on live TV, but that's fine. It leads to them doing Too Sweet. Balor Club they have to come if somebody says Too Sweet. Like, they're actually on their way to my house now because I've said it. So they show up and they come out, and I thought it was going to be like a clash. It wasn't. It was a respect thing, like kind of like passing the torch, if you will. Not fully, but it felt right. But then we got the segment that I kind of called before, which a lot of people had. I'm not the only one. Not going to take credit for that. The Revival comes out. They don't say anything. They just get into a match against Anderson and Gallows. It's very short, very short match. Magic Killer. I don't even remember who got it. All I know is that they ended up they got the old superstar treatment of catching like a bunch of finishers for the cheap pop, and the Revival's too good of a tag team for this to be happening to. I feel like they're getting punished for their past injuries and that one line in that really good promo, in my opinion. So just hopefully this doesn't like flatline them in WWE as a whole. At least they let Finn Balor get the last hit, I guess, with the coup de grace. Maybe that'll tie into something later. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, this leads to the last segment of the night. Kurt Angle brings like everyone. There's like legends and current superstars alike. I think the coach was still there. Everybody just comes down to the ring. Everyone's out because we're going to get Braun Strowman, Kane, and Brock Lesnar, all three in the ring at one time. But nobody stops the fight. Nobody stops anything. So they come out. The big payoff here is like an F5, I believe, onto Kane, which then leads to like Braun Strowman just like power slamming him through a table, and that's it. And then it just cuts to black, pretty quickly after. Just a bad time all around. Let's just get to SmackDown, shall we? So SmackDown starts with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. They open the show talking about how when they lost their handicap match that they lost the week before, it's because they were the lesser team. Well, guess what? AJ Styles is about to be the man with the lesser chance, and it proves even more that AJ is going to lose his handicap match. Very nice deflection, nice way to turn that around. Very good move. AJ then ends up coming out, and, he starts trash-talking them, counters the yep movement with the nope movement, whatever. Then this leads to the Kevin and Sami show, reminding AJ that he said at one point, they play a clip where he said he could, face each man, in the same night, back to back. He got no problem with that. So they say, like, hey, we're going to call you on that. And Daniel Bryan then comes out. AJ assumes that Daniel Bryan is going to, let this go through. So he's accepting on his own behalf. He believes that he's in bed with those two, that he's, part of that clique now. We also get a thing backstage very shortly after where Daniel Bryan is told by Shane McMahon that he's not sure he agrees with his decision making. So 15-minute opening promo was alright, wasn't too bad. This leads to Chad Gable versus Jey Uso. Decent match. Gable ends up getting the win clean. I think it was off a German suplex. I kind of wanted more of a build-up here. We didn't get a lot, they're supposed to be the heels. The American Beta is supposed to be the heels here. And I thought we'd get a little more going into it, especially after, the beatdown the week before. You could argue they have reasons to be upset because, they thought they had the titles won and another ref ripped it from them and blah, blah, blah. We're about to enter a 2 out of 3 falls match. I wanted a little more from this, but that's alright. We'll let it go. Then we get Naomi versus Liv Morgan. About halfway-ish through the match, all the other ladies come out from the SmackDown locker room. The match ends with a sunset flip from Naomi onto Liv Morgan. You don't see that very often. That's a really weak finish, in my opinion. Leads to Ruby Riott and Sarah Logan getting in the ring, and they're jumping Naomi. Everybody else gets in the ring as well. Bit of a brawl ensues. Becky Lynch actually, her and Naomi are the last two in, and she goes to throw Naomi over, but Naomi, holds onto the rope, and they kind of have a stare down before Charlotte's music hits, and she comes out, and she just kind of reminds them, hey, good luck in the Rumble, because you guys are all fighting for a chance to fight me. And, that gives us a little bit, makes it different than Raw's, but it still felt very, copy and pasted, if you will. Then we get Baron Corbin versus Shinsuke Nakamura, and this was pretty decent match. I like the pairing. You know, you get the strikes of the strong style from Nakamura. You get Baron Corbin and is just trying to be a powerhouse. There was a clothesline that Nakamura sold, like flipping through the clothesline whenever he got hit. That was really nice. I also like the reversal of the end of days into an armbar. That was a nice touch. Shinsuke has Baron Corbin lined up. He's going to hit the Kinshasa kick. Whatever. I mess that up every time. But that's not the important thing. The crowd doesn't sell that it's coming. Like, no sign at all. The camera doesn't pick it up. Literally the most out-of-nowhere RKO I've seen in my life. Just lays out Shinsuke. Beautiful. Might be the best RKO I've ever seen. Comes out of nowhere. Lays him out, lays Baron Corbin out. I'm guessing this is more build-up for them into the Rumble, and as you can see by even just the last two little segments there, a lot of build-up to the pay-per-view from this episode of SmackDown. Raw got lost in its nostalgia, didn't do so much, and that's why SmackDown's the better show this week, guys. So, after that, that whole thing there, we get a six-man tag match as it's the New Day and Bobby Roode face against Rusev Day and Jinder Mahal. It's all right. It's a good opening segment, and then a really, really short match. It's won by Xavier Woods dropping an elbow, cracking it right onto Aiden English, and getting the 3 count. The promos and the opening, it felt longer than the match itself. The opening was really good, though. I did really enjoy that, with them like lip syncing, almost much like they were on Jimmy Fallon's show just like recently. A nice little touch. Again, good opening, but So then after that, we're gonna get the first of 2 matches for AJ Styles. It's AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens. It's pretty short. Didn't expect it to be that short. But it sold very well because it sold on AJ focusing on the leg and getting him in the calf crusher. But he also, like, after, Kevin taps, AJ refuses to let go. He's still, like, holding the move. Like, and he had mentioned earlier in the night that he was going to hurt them. That was his goal. So, again, it kind of blurs the line almost of who's the real heel in this situation, which is probably the goal of the writing team right now, even though, like, it's cut and paste in the end who actually should be considered the heel and who is the face. The champion is the face right now. But it's just so weird because of all the backstage politics. So, Sami gets in the ring, attacks AJ. This gives, you would think, an advantage to Sami. So, this match, excellent match. Like, honestly, just a really, really good. Kevin Owens is selling the injury on the storyline. They got, like, staff checking out on him. Every time they spill out to the outside, they being Sami Zayn and AJ Styles, AJ takes that moment to attack Kevin more. Which is unfair. It makes Kevin look a little more sympathetic because how's this fair? Like, if he were to hit back, like, he'd be fired. They'd be fired. What's this nonsense, So I like what they're doing. So AJ Styles, does this periodically throughout again, a good match between the two. They end up putting Kevin Owens on the stretcher. AJ tips the stretcher. Like, he just dumps it all over, but then when he gets back in the ring, he catches a haluva kick to the face, and then the Blue Thunder Bomb. And Sami, for the first time, I swear, ever, no idea if that's actually ever, but I feel like it's actually ever since he's been in WWE, he picks up the win with the Blue Thunder Bomb. Usually, like, they kick out of it. They didn't. He got the win with the Blue Thunder Bomb. My lord. So, yeah, that was it. Sami Zayn now has 2 wins over AJ Styles. This puts the heels, higher up. Also, because of the injury to Kevin Owens that they're selling type thing, it makes it so when AJ wins, because, again, we'll get into that, even if AJ wins, he beat and injured Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, so, like, neither one of them, like, get too hurt by this outcome no matter what it is. But yeah, so that was the end of SmackDown. SmackDown was the better show this week. Raw just had too much nostalgia and stuff going into it that I think they just kind of sunk themselves. So anyway, it's been about a half hour of me reviewing, and I apologize for such a long video. Hopefully we don't have a situation where it takes this long to review again. And I don't think my Royal Rumble predictions will take nearly as long, so you can look forward to that. But that being said, I've been Michael Solomon, Captain Solomon 1 for some of you guys. And I want to thank you for tuning in and expect some more wrestling videos in the future where, like I said, sometime this week, I will be making my predictions for the Royal Rumble 2018. So, you guys have been awesome, and I'll see you later.